Okay, I'm ringing up Jonathan Smith.
Hello, you've reached the voicemail of Jonathan Smith at DWF Law. I'm sorry I'm unable to take your call at the moment. If you'd like to leave your name and number, I will of course get back in touch with you as soon as I'm able. Thank you.
Please leave your message after the tone. To re-record your message, key hash at any time.
Oh, hello, Mr. Smith. It's Mr. Hussain here. Once again, leaving yourself a daily voice message, asking you to, asking and encouraging you to engage with me. Now, as a legal representative of Manningham Housing Association, on the ongoing matters and the cases in the courts and the claims that you're pursuing through the county court. Now, today is Saturday, the 4th of November. 2023, and the time is 11:42, and the purpose of my call today particularly is in relation to the fact that you have made a malicious attempt to take down my call recordings, videos, and this is not the first time that I've experienced this situation. Now, you know, you may be able to, because the way you may be able to remove my video from YouTube according to their guidelines, because obviously the YouTube do not want to get involved with these things. But the bottom line remains is that the videos, these call recordings exist. They're in the public domain, and by your attempting to remove one of my videos from the public domain, you do understand that you're exposing yourself to further litigation action and liability, because it's my intangible property. This is a call that I've paid for. So let me explain to you the law, because quite clearly, as a senior solicitor at DWF, your grasp or understanding of the law is very much circumspect. As you can appreciate, when I was in court last on the 9th of October, and it's no disrespect to yourself, even Judge Wilcox was acting like a moron who didn't understand the law when I had clearly put a claim in stating that I wish to take I wish to take action against contempt of court by the corporation, such as yourself, for failing to adhere to orders. And she said, oh, well, I don't think you can do that, legally speaking. And she was also telling me that, legally speaking, but the law says that I can't be my brother's litigation friend. You know, all these are lies and deceptions. Your deliberate attempts to act idiocracy. Your deliberate attempts at acting as idiocracy. Now, focusing in on this, the fact that you'll try to take down my video. All right, this is a very serious matter. I take this very seriously. This is my bread and butter, much like your bread and butter is writing letters and forcing me to write things down. I record things, and I record things simply because I'm a citizen journalist, and I'm looking to expose the lies and corruptions in these closeted courts when there's supposed to be open justice available. And evidently the major concern is not you personally colluding with the local authorities and being a party in a joint enterprise. I remind myself that you're only a small piece. You're just simply being fronted. Your involvement is simply to put the case forward, and so on paper it looks like one way, that this is the claimant is the housing association, its legal representative is DWF, so we can then put the case forward, but in the background it's been controlled and manipulated and spearheaded by Bradford Council, and that's something that's not escaped from me, and that's something that you cannot deny. Especially given the fact that the material facts of my brother now being kidnapped. All right, this is quite clearly to your client's 100% benefit. Your client has no standing on this claim. In fact, but they had withdrawn their claim in April and looked to rehouses. You can't say we're just going to ignore that fact. Your client looked to houses because of the value that my brother, they had their obligation to house my brother. By removing my brother, you've effectively won this case. And then subsequently, the police have got involved. You instructed the police to falsely...
In 10 seconds.
You've instructed the police to falsely arrest me, but look, all I want you to do is I want you to confirm in writing that you've withdrawn your claim for privacy, video privacy. You cannot do this, and I urge you...
Message has reached maximum length. Message deposited. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you for calling. So they've attempted to take down a video request that does not involve them, that's not a privacy violation, and the reason that they're doing this is simply because they're looking to disadvantage me in a case where I'm a litigant in person, and these people are solicitors, a corporation. So we've got 3 corporations here. No, 4 corporations. Excuse me, 4 corporations. The first corporation is Manningham Housing Association, which is social housing landlords, which are there to provide care, so housing for vulnerable adults. And that vulnerable adult was my mother, but most primarily is my brother. They have an obligation to my brother, which they're negating on now, simply stating that we're not entitled to, you're not entitled to inherit the tenancy, which is all completely rubbish. They're targeting me, and therefore by proxy they're hurting my brother. Now, in addition to that corporation, there's obviously a legal corporation, which is DWF Law, which is a solicitor's firm where Jonathan Smith is a director. So that's 2 corporations. The third corporation is the Courts and Tribunal Services. That's another corporation, all right, which is spearheaded by Nick Goodwin, who's obviously working on the unofficial payroll of the local authority, and the local authority being the 4th corporation, the real power behind the throne, directing and spearheading this case to target me and my family directly. So they're all working in collusion and collusion together, and as a consequence of their hatred for me, they are now compromising themselves and not ultimately compromising the independence of the judiciary by buying off the judges in order to achieve this objective. Now we're coming to being nearly over 20 months later from the start of this case. 20 months of my life have been wasted, deteriorated, not providing us with any means of security of accommodation, pursuing the situation quite aggressively now, and by having my brother abducted. Now the reality is that this DWF firm is a bunch of incompetent morons that are trying to convince me that they did not know that the tenancy agreement gets terminated at the time of my mother's death and not at the time of serving the notice to quit. The first thing they should have done is serve the notice to quit. They failed to do so. That's a failure on their part, and there's just been a litany of failures and incompetences and embarrassments on their part. When I've made a disclosure request from them, they give me somebody else's case file. I've reported that to the Information Commissioner's office. Well, no, I don't think I did, but I wanted to speak to them about this, and they're just basically just ignoring me, because the reason that they're ignoring me is that they don't need to speak to me, and the reason they don't need to speak to me as a defendant in this case is because any kind of thing that I can say is a distraction from their falsified narrative that they've created in order to railroad something through, to force something through. They need to have certain key points met, and by me looking to negate those key points, the threshold is not being met. Basically, the case has absolutely no merit, and yet it's been allowed to be railroaded through as a result of the collusion and collaboration of other parties. And every day that goes by is a day that they could protect as a housing association, could give us a security of accommodation, could be receiving the rent through housing benefit, but that money is then going to come from Bradford Council. So therefore Bradford Council don't want to have this put in place, so they are now acting unilaterally or collectively to target us for their own best interest, because every day that goes by is a day that's costing the housing association, and that is a day that's the local authority is saving money on, and placing liability upon myself. So you see how this present situation has been constructed and contrived and manufactured to the complete financial interest of the local authority's best interest, and to the complete detriment of both me and my brother. My brother lacks security of accommodation, all legal cost liabilities placed upon myself, and that everybody's sitting pretty and we're suffering as a consequence. And I'm asking them to speak to me, and they were, as a senior solicitor in a law firm, he knows the fact that he's committing crimes, and I'm going to look to expose him, and he's not going to be able to brush me off under the sphere that I should respect him because he's a senior solicitor, and I should supplicate myself and acquiesce to his authority. No, I'm not acquiescing to anybody's authority, especially when you're lying, cheating, and manipulating, and you're you're refusing to even engage with me. All I'm asking for is a conversation. Let's talk. It's good to talk. When you wanted something, you want to come into my house and talk with me whilst having an ulterior agenda. Now that I'm looking to question what you've done and bring you to the fore to account, they all don't want to talk to me anymore. I wonder why. I wonder